They say that the fourth indie film, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, was the worst indie film of the bunch. Well, I think this one, Dial of Destiny, makes up for it in spades. This film is basically about time travel, and whether or not it's good to dwell in the past or move on to a hopefully better future. And honestly, this film was really decent in my humble opinion. Indy is an old man in the age of Doctor Who and space rockets and NASA, and he's basically being told you should retire. But turns out one of the scientists from NASA is still associated with, let's just say, a group of people who the US government pulled a lot of resources from for the space program after World War II, has come back in order to locate a device which supposedly can find natural holes in time. And he wants to use that device to change history, to make it what he believes is better. But whose definition of a better history are we talking here? The land of the free, home of the brave, or the land of the blonde and blue-eyed and everybody else gets sent to concentration camps, if you know what I mean. So yeah, first off, Harrison Ford, as gruff old man Indy, is pretty decent. His co-stars, the actress playing his goddaughter, the offspring of a colleague of his, works well off of him. She's basically like the anti-Indy. She's closer to Han Solo than Indy. And they butt heads, but he feels obligated to help her for the sake of his old friend who's no longer in the picture. The villain, played by Mads Mikkelsen, well, he's just amazing. He always plays his characters sort of undertoned and very evenly voiced, like this. So you can believe that if he does go nuts or something, it's serious, because he's like a coiled spring. You don't know when he's going to release his energy, but when he does, it's a doozy. Once again, we see John Rhys Davies as Sala, plus a few others, and they play their parts amazingly. I'm not going to get into it for spoiler's sake, but let's just say the story itself ends up being bittersweet. But it's bittersweet in a good way. While I did feel it was a bit on the long side, the flashback at the beginning showing a young Indy with 80% amazing de-aging of Harrison Ford, and a big sequence at the end, more than make this film worth the watch. We don't overstay our welcome in places, and the various sets we go to are both practical and fantastical, and CGI is only used when it needs to be. And that helped the believability of this movie. The music is classic Indiana Jones, and it's not intrusive, nor is it nor is it patronizing. It's just the right amount of nostalgia with just the right amount of modern relevance. If this is how we're going out, then Dial of Destiny is definitely a high note. Oh, also, it pulls real-world history out of the fantastical. The MacGuffin that everyone's looking for is an actual device that was found in the Mediterranean Sea. Only the difference here being the device in question in the movie is broken into two pieces and is in perfect condition, whereas the actual device was a lump of barnacles with stuff you had to see through x-rays. The Antikythera mechanism, look it up. It's actually quite fascinating. But it's basically a bit of real-world history that's brought into the fantastical. So yeah, as a fan of the classic films, growing up with them, I fully endorse this one. It ends the story of Indiana Jones on a high note, and spoiler alert, he does not lose his eye in this one. So we've yet to see that adventure. And yes, I'm referencing the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. No word as to yet whether or not they're canon or not. This is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, the past shapes us. The future is undiscovered. All we have is the present. And Vietnam was a mistake. Yes, I'm referencing something in the movie. And a bit of my family's real-world history. Ride on, Dr. Jones. Ride on.